Hi and welcome to another gaming video, and in today's video, well, I want to talk about the Switch 2. Now, I've been talking about this console for a long time, all the predictions and all the rumours, and now that we've had an official announcement from Nintendo, that was about a week or so ago. So the hype has kind of settled down a bit, the initial rush. There's been lots of news stories. There's still more rumours and leaks regarding the Switch 2, because although Nintendo has officially announced it, we really don't know much about it officially. Now, it looks as if most of the sort of leaks and rumours that were there prior to Nintendo officially announcing it were true. So some of the other sort of rumours that have been floating around, it is a good possibility that they could be true as well. So we know the size of it, we know what it's going to look like, we know what the dock is going to look like, we know that it's going to come with some new games, and there's a much anticipated Mario Kart 9, which was once again rumoured before the official announcement. And now that we've had this preview video, there was a bit of a clip of Mario Kart, and it ain't Mario Kart 8, so everyone is going, oh, this is Mario Kart 9, look at the detail, look at this, it looks more open world. So that's one thing that we still kind of know, but it's not been officially announced. But I want to just sort of talk about my initial thoughts of it. It's going to be a more powerful console, that's a given, because it's a newer console. How much more powerful? We don't actually know. There's lots of rumours that it's going to be PS4 quality, PS4 Pro quality, even PS5 quality. This DLSS is going to make a huge difference for graphics and gaming capabilities. It's rumoured to be 4 times as powerful. The current Switch has 4 gig of RAM, and the Switch 2 is rumoured to have 12 gig of RAM, with a clock speed that's twice as fast as we've got now. So all in all, the Switch 2 is going to be a bit of a beast of a console. Just take a look at the current Switch. It's severely underpowered in terms of specs. It competed very well with its current gen of console, so that would make that Xbox Series X and PS5. It's more or less on a level of a PS3 power, hence the reason you get a lot of PS3 ports. So to bring out the Switch 2, which is going to be called the Switch 2, that's one other thing that we do know, and give it this awesome amount of processing power, RAM, graphics power, and then put on Nintendo's special touch, you know that the Switch 2 is going to be an absolutely fantastic console. Hopefully it isn't going to go the way of the Wii U, where massive success of the Wii U, huge failure. The Switch is a massive success, and I'm hoping that the Switch 2 is going to continue that. The fact that it's backward compatible means that you can play your online games, you know, games you've bought from the store, or ones that you've bought on cartridge. If they're Switch games, then you can put them in the Switch 2. Whether we'll see some kind of upgrade or update for them, I don't know. A bit like when you put a PS4 game in a PS5, sometimes you get enhancements. It would be nice. There are some heavy-hitting Switch games that I wouldn't say struggle, but do really sort of show that they're pushing the limits of the Nintendo Switch. Some of the Zelda games like Tears of a Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, these really do push what the Switch is capable of. So if that was to then be playable on the Switch 2, the added extra specs of the Switch 2 should give those games a little bit of breathing room. The same with Doom and Doom Eternal. They were available on the Switch. Absolutely fantastic, but you could tell that it really was pushing the hardware. Put them on the Switch 2, or just allow them on the Switch 2, and it would be fantastic with the extra horsepower, processing power, and give them an enhanced port or like an update to really take advantage of the Switch 2. And this console is going to be absolutely sublime. We don't really know anything about the pricing of it. Lots of rumours that it's going to be 300, 400, 500. I can't see it being £300. I think it's going to be more in the 400, 450 mark. They're still trying to sell the Switch, and they will still sell the Switch alongside the Switch 2. I think at a push they would get rid of the Switch and the OLED Switch, at some point, and maybe just keep the Switch Lite as a portable cut down sort of console alongside the Switch 2. But even if they do that, they're going to have to drop the prices of the Switch Lite, which is currently sitting around about 180 new. The Switch OLED you can pick up for about £300 new. They then can't bring out the Switch 2 at £300. They're either going to have to really reduce the price of the current lineup of Switch consoles or increase the price of the Switch 2, and I think that's more likely. I think we're going to see a 150 mark for the Switch Lite, a 250 mark for the Switch or Switch OLED, and then possibly like a 450 for the Switch 2. And obviously eventually they'll discontinue the Switch and the Switch Lite, and then they'll reduce the price of the Switch 2. What else do we know? Well, the other thing is that we've got these funky little Joy-Cons. So current Switch Joy-Cons, excluding the Switch Lite because that's got fixed Joy-Cons, but the current Switch Joy-Cons are slid on a rail system. Not the best. It's not. I don't particularly like them. I think they're a little bit clunky, a bit wonky. They give a bit too much wobble in them. But the Switch 2 apparently it has got magnetized Joy-Cons, and they've also got this little connector that clips in and holds these hold these Joy-Cons in. Lots of people have already started complaining that, oh look, that's not going to last long, that's going to break, that looks too flimsy, and maybe it is, but I'm pretty sure Nintendo have thought of that. They're very good on quality of products. I mean, the Switch Lite is fantastic. We've all had this Joy-Con drift scare, but I don't actually know anyone personally who's had it. I've got a Switch Lite, and one of the reasons that people were putting me off buying a Switch Lite is because of the fixed Joy-Cons and Joy-Con drift. I've not experienced Joy-Con drift. We've had three, four Switches in our household over the last sort of 7 or 8 years, and none of the Joy-Cons have had Joy-Con drift. But with the Switch 2, it is supposedly or reportedly going to have Hall effect Joy-Cons or Hall effect sticks on the Joy-Cons, and this eliminates any possibility of Joy-Con drift. Whether that will come true, I don't know, but I think Nintendo would be good to go down that route to eliminate Joy-Con drift altogether. What else? Well, then we're going to talk about screen. So you've got the original Switch, and then you've got the Switch OLED, and now a lot of people are saying that the Switch 2 is going to come straight off the bat with an OLED screen. I could see that happening, because there are a lot of people that prefer the OLED, and if they've got a Switch OLED, they then don't want to go for a Switch 2 non-OLED, with the possibility of a Switch 2 OLED coming out at a later date. I think Nintendo need to hit the ground running with this thing, bring out this Switch 2, give it an OLED screen, give it all it's got, and really just push the Switch 2, because no matter the fact that the Switch 2 is backward compatible, it's going to have a hard job following the Switch. And when we had that with the new 3DS, this more powerful 3DS system that had its own games, technically I would say it's like a next gen, but it really didn't take off. There wasn't that many games that took advantage of the new sort of extra processing power and RAMs and graphics power in the new 3DS, and it was a bit of a flop. I think it was more for die-hard 3DS fans, and I don't want to see that happen with the Switch 2. Nintendo have had a massive run, and they took a big risk with the Switch, combining their handheld and their home console, and it looks like they're going to go down the same route with the Switch 2, so it really needs to be a success, otherwise it could put Nintendo in deep water. So yeah, they're my thoughts, and sort of whatever the latest rumours and people's thoughts on what this Switch 2 announcement was. I've already mentioned in a previous video that it was a bit of a flat announcement. They put this video out, they show you what the Switch was going to be, or the Switch 2 was going to be like, and they did that purely because they wanted to put the rumour mill to bed. And while there are still some things that need to be sort of uncovered about the Switch 2, which I'm sure in the next few months we will see. I think on the 2nd of April we've got this Nintendo Direct regarding the Switch 2, which I think they will announce games lineup, hardware specs, and just really show off fully what the Switch 2 is all about. That's just my little roundup of thoughts. Like I say, we've had the Switch 2 announcement about a week or so ago, and the dust has now settled. There's more questions raised than were answered, and like I say, we'll hopefully sort of get some more answers to these. We'll get a list of full games and full specs, but I think the Switch 2 is going to be a big success. Do I think it's going to be as big as the Switch? I don't think so, but I don't think by any means that it's going to be a flop, but they do need to really push games that push the capabilities of the Switch 2 to show it off. We're going to see a lot of PS4 and Xbox One games ported to the Switch 2. I think that is a given, and that is one thing that I am looking forward to seeing. These more powerful, more graphical games. Don't get me wrong, I love my Switch Lite. The games that are available on it, I'm a big fan of PS3 era gaming, and it was great that there's so many PS3 ports on the Switch, and I think there are a lot of games that just are absolutely fantastic from the era on the Switch that are superb, and the Switch handles them fantastically. And if the Switch 2 is to run PS4 games, possibly PS5 games, then it is going to be fantastic. One last rumour, if we're talking about games, is that Microsoft are apparently going to be porting some Xbox exclusive games like Halo across to the Switch 2. However true that is, I don't know. It would be fantastic to see, but I think that could harm Microsoft in some way. But yeah, that's just me having a bit of a rant and a bit of a roundup regarding the Switch 2. We will find out a bit more about it, and we're looking for possibly, I think, a June or a July release. There were rumours that it was going to be released end of March, but we know that's not going to be true, because we've got a Nintendo Direct in early April, 2nd of April I think it is, regarding the Switch 2, where we will find out more information and then possibly a release date. So I am going to finish this video, and I hope you took some information away from this and got you a bit thinking a little bit, but that's the Switch 2, that's my thoughts, that's the latest sort of rumour roundup and what I think about the Switch 2 in general. Link, like, subscribe, enjoy.